Reality Transurfing, Book 3, Forward to the Past, by Vadim Zeland. Chapter 5, Letters from the Past. Reality Inversion. Reality Inversion. Reality is relentlessly moving its frame along the film of time. Holidays come and go. It's such a shame that they so quickly come to an end. Hemingway was right. You always need to carry the feast with you. But that doesn't always work. The feast suddenly gets lost, and all the colors of life fade. In your heart there is emptiness and anguish, sometimes explainable, sometimes it is there for no apparent reason. The strangest thing is that the world submerges into darkness swiftly and eagerly, while illumination surfaces very slowly, after agonizing suspense. The tendency of man towards being negative does its dark deed. Depression is when your soul and mind agree on that you feel bad. In that case, external intention is inevitably moving reality to the dark areas of the space of variations. The mirror reacts quickly, without delay, and there is no light for a long time after this, because you feel bad. And with this attitude of yours, you are painting the layer of your world even blacker. Sometimes things are so bad that you don't even have the strength to remember about transurfing or anything of the kind. How to break free from this vicious circle and straighten out your reality. Actually, practically speaking, it is rather difficult, and yet there is one radical method called reality inversion. This was a very long time ago, but quite recently, just 20 years ago. At that time, we physics students were studying at a positively terrifying faculty, where lecturers were behaving brutally with all of the atrocities of the Stone Age. 75 people would register for the course, but no more than 25 would get to the end. In an environment like that, there was one active law. Want to live. Get to know how to laugh. Let me repeat that. In an environment like that, there was one active law. Want to live? Get to know how to laugh. We came up with a game then, which afterwards I forgot about. It was only later that I realized the game was conducted according to all the rules of transurfing. The point of the game was to turn one's attitude to the situation on its head, that is, to perform a kind of inversion. If someone is feeling bad, the pendulum rule makes him suffer. Worry makes him bend under the weight of the problems, run amok. While the rules of our game stated that you need to do the other way around. How we did it, you be the judge. I experienced a rather joyous disappointment. The thing is that there was an incredibly lucky misfortune. Something irreversible has happened, which immediately made things better for me. Some handsome gentleman in a car charmingly covered me in mud. All of my attempts were in vain, and that became the keystone to success. She doesn't love me. No, it's too good to be true. The damn snake is faking it well. He left me. I was hee-hawing like the buttony horse. And so on. Along the same lines, with all kinds of refinements. The only thing interrupting our game was the hysterical loud laughter that was accompanying all of the transformations of failures. When you are attending a lecture, no one will let you roar with laughter, so a muffled giggling turned into some kind of rumbling, snorting, grunting, chuckling, gurgling, and other sounds that hoofed animals and amphibians are capable of producing. During the break, the accumulated energy spilled out into a completely idiotic howl, quite in the spirit of Castaneda. What is happening here from the standpoint of transurfing is that you understand yourself. Firstly, any kind of importance drops immediately and excess potentials disappear. Secondly, the parameters of radiation of thought, energy of delight, even an idiotic one, in no way corresponds to sad life tracks. Thus, the transfer occurs at once. The mirror reacts quickly because the soul and mind finally drew a sigh of relief. As a result, reality is straightened out. Once we were about to have an exam on the theory of probability. One lecturer was a horrible man, to put it mildly. A student hall the night before the exam, a sinister night. My friend and I are racking our brains over how to straighten out the situation. Who knows what probability is and how to calculate it? It is a mystery covered in darkness. And our hags are sitting cramming away. Well, that doesn't suit us. Are we men or what? Bastards! A hag peeked through the door, having overheard our conversation. Quite, you uncomfortable one. We are gentlemen. Jerks, young scientists, morons. In the end, someone suggested we play preference all night long. I said, then, no, guys, this is way too much for me. I am going to sleep. But the gentlemen, dressed up in suits and ties and with cigars in their mouths, the cheap kind, and with bottles of some kind of dubious liquid on the table, they sat down to play cards. In the morning I found them at the very same table. Idiots, I tell them, it won't work. But they got up, roused themselves, and went to their doom. As a result, it really didn't work. They got C's, but me, a completely different story. I got a D. Truly, it was a stroke of luck. They envied me so much. They kept bugging me, looking into my eyes and questioning me, trembling. How did I manage to do this? As I was walking around with my head proudly in the air, see? I hope you understand, gentlemen, where I wish you to insert these pitiful C's. That day we had a grand celebration of my victory. We had great fun, and on the next day I retook the exam and got an A. That is all. Have no doubt. It is not something I made up. If the inversion is made properly, the results won't make you wait. Well, and what if you are such a terrible mood that you just can't bear to do an inversion? Then you need to make your mood even worse. Bring it to grotesque, to absurdity. If the contrast of a slide is brought up to the max, it will at some point turn into a negative. That's pretty much how we were doing it. A young woman is depressed. To make matters worse, she dressed up in black and declares that she is in mourning. Everyone comes up to her, expresses their condolences, and takes an interest in how she has decided to take her life and when it will happen. Finally, she is surrounded by a group of scoundrels that start singing a depressing, sorrowful song with wailings, whining, wringing of hands, basically the whole shebang worthy of respectable savages. Gradually, the savage song turns into a prolonged howl, then into a real dog bark, and finally, when there is no longer any strength left to stand it, everybody, including the lady in black, starts roaring with laughter like mad. Of course, everything is easy when you have such a fun gang, but when you are by yourself, you have to manage on your own. Ways of doing it, well, that is already a matter of preference. Joking aside, you really need to bring the state you are in to the point of absurdity. Only you shouldn't do it with the help of substances that alter the state of your consciousness, otherwise you really will feel bad. But actually, I personally do not like applying the method of contrast on my own. Thus, I do not recommend it. I cite it here for your information only. Feeling heavy-hearted, depressed, tells of an extremely low level of energy, of intention. It is better to keep your energy at a healthy level, and then there won't be any depressive states. As you see, reality inversion is very similar to the principle of coordination of intention. The difference is only that inversion is more radical and full of humor. Chapter 5 Summary. If you do not control reality, it controls you. End chapter 5.